This is the 19th season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, Aftco, Pro Guide Batteries, X Zone Lures, Shoreline Boat and RV Repair, Spro, Gamakatsu, Big Bite Baits, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing. We got an in-studio guest today. Alabama's Justin Hamner.
What's happening?
Northport,
Just go
Alabama.
with Tuscaloosa.
Okay, so Tuscaloosa, Alabama, making the drive down to over. Is it over and a little bit south?
No, it's over and a little bit north.
Make sure you're talking into that microphone.
Yeah, like make love to it. Is that what it is?
We had this in the pre-show meeting to talk into the microphone.
That was a heck of a meeting.
It was.
Like we got a whole list of things we're about to go over.
We talked. No, actually, you have no idea what we're going to
talk
about.
Not a clue.
I actually put down a little bit of a list. But one of the nice things about having the Bass Tank, who rigs my boat, you have Scott from the Bass Tank in all the time, as you got guys who fish at the top level who have their stuff rigged. So we had Gleason in studio last month when he was getting his rig rigged, and you made the drive from Alabama, dropped the boat off at the Bass Tank last night. It's getting rigged today, so you had a little bit of time to kill. So
yeah, that says something when you drive 10 hours and that serious storm we just went through.
Was it bad?
Dude, it was rough. And I got blew all over that road yesterday. Oh my God. 18 wheelers. If there's a way to avoid 40 when you're coming over here, please let me know. That's
I-40.
Yeah.
Oh, we hate that drive in Oklahoma. Like it's great road, but it is heavy traffic all the way. And then from basically like here you hear 40's right here. Yeah. And then you jump on that and you go all the way through into Arkansas, past Arnell, over to Memphis, and it's just a straight shot.
Like between Little Rock and Memphis, that's the part that got me.
Yeah.
Dude, that stretch sucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, made the drive all the way over here. Want my stuff done right. Just want to take it to the Bass Tank. Let Scott dig around in there. Make sure we get it set up. I can't wait to go fishing. I'm just ready to go fishing. What are
you haven't done this year? So obviously this year is it's going to be like Christmas morning for the tech guys when the Elite Series and the BPT kicks off. But mainly I've heard a lot more on the Elite Series of just crazy rumors of 6 transducers, 7 screens, all sorts of crazy stuff going on. Like, what is your setup going to be this year? You room with a lot of guys who are big on scope too.
Oh yeah. Rooming with Patrick. I mean, me and him, we go hard with scope, but I'm not changing it up much this year. The only thing I am adding is another transducer. So, last year I just had the one, live scope.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to add another one. So I'll have 2 so I can have the perspective mode. So I guess I will have 3 up front, 2 in the back, but not doing any more in the back or anything like that. So I'll just have the 2.
And then run facing. 1 continuously in perspective.
Yep.
And 1 continuously in forward.
Yep. That's the only change up we got.
You're not doing any like I don't know. I call it the saltwater transducer. That's what everyone started calling it. But
I am.
You are?
I'm excited about that.
What is the model of that?
62 LVS 62.
And
it's giant.
So
it's huge.
The actual transducer is bigger than like the LVS 34 that you normally are.
It's like the size of my head.
Really?
It is big.
So where do you mount that?
I'm mounting it on the trolling motor.
On the shaft?
Yep. So that'll be on the shaft, and then the 34 is going to be like on the barrel of the trolling motor.
So do you run the 60? What is it again?
62.
So do you run the 62 in perspective, or do you run that one in forward?
Be running that one in perspective. Now I might, like when we get up north, got a few things. Played with it last year. It was pretty cool because you can see realistically 350 foot out
in perspective.
No.
In forward.
In the forward. Yeah. So when I go up there, I probably will switch it to forward. So I'll have that one for forward to see like 300, 350. And you're not getting the detail. Like,
You're just
don't
telling there's
think,
something out there.
yeah, like, oh, there's a ball of bait out there. Every once in a while, like if it was a crazy school of like 20 or 30, you could kind of see them. But mainly you're just like looking for balls of baits, structure, something like that.
And then
I'll have the 34, you know, still set on like 110, 120 to really, you know, dial it in and actually fish with that one.
So last year you guys went to St. Clair.
Yep.
And that's where that really kind of shined.
It was, I didn't have it yet.
You didn't have it yet, but didn't a bunch of guys there have it? And that's the deal where you use the 62 to see something 300 feet out, then you kick it on high bypass, shoot up to where you can get it within range of the 34, then pick that fish up with the 34 and scope it close range.
Champlain, I think, that's where I know I utilize it like big time, because we were literally
you had it at Champlain?
Yeah, had it at Champlain.
So you didn't have it, you heard about it, you said I gotta have it, and then put it on 3/4 of the way through the year.
Yeah. So all I had it for was Champlain and St. Lawrence, and it's legit.
It's basically the difference between half a football field and a football field and a half, right? 50 yards would be 150 feet.
Yep.
So
that's about right. I'm not good at math. Don't be throwing
right.
that.
300 feet would be 100 yards if there's 3 feet to a yard.
Yeah. But my problem was last year I was having to switch just back and forth on my one graph.
Between
I know that's
perspective
like a
and
real
forward
problem. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm
so now I'll
have to do
the
in the
3
opens this year. I just called Scott and was like, hey, I got to get perspective. Like I've recently seen the power of perspective mode.
Yeah. So the 62, like with me, whenever I would try to use like the 34 on perspective, it'd be like 50, maybe 60 foot that you could actually see a clearish picture. But with that saltwater, I like 100 foot on perspective.
And then
pretty clear.
You can be like, so instead of having 2 degrees or 3 degrees, whatever the beam is on the 34, you now have 60 degrees basically, or 40, 30 degrees.
Yeah.
And then, so you can pan your scope like that. And
Yep.
then like, let's say you see one over here, then you can zone in on it on the.
Right. And I think it's more for like structure. You're finding structure on that perspective.
Like a rock, a grass clump, a brush pile.
Yep. Hey, there's a stump over there. Turn over there towards it and actually have the forward to really dial it in. I know everybody hates forward facing sonar, but
no, I mean,
if you like bass fishing,
I don't want to get
catching
into that
fish,
talk today. I want to get into like,
don't.
I mean, we'll talk about the fish catching part. That's what I'm interested in. Like
I like that
I mean,
part.
I get sometimes comments that are like, well, Matt just asked questions so he could get his stuff dialed in. I ask stuff that I want to know because I'm interested in it, and this is something that I'm very interested in.
If you want to catch more fish, this is a legit setup.
And it doesn't affect like your little micro adjustments on the trolling motor having that big giant deucer on it.
No, that Garmin trolling motor's a beast.
Okay, so you're running the is it the Force?
You can't even tell. Yeah, the Force. You can't tell the difference. Only difference is it's heavy when you pick it up.
Yeah. And Clint wants to know a bunch of guys want to know no interference at all between
slightly. There is slightly. You'll so on your 34, you will have it just like that. I guess whenever it shoots out, you'll have that one beam just kind of go across. But it's for what you're getting, it's worth it.
Would you say, well, you've been on the Elite Series 5 years now? 4 years?
This will be 4.
This will be your 4th year. Congrats. I mean, you've made it kind of over the hump. Everyone says, your first year you survive. The second year you figure out if you catch them. If you make it past 3 years, then you can start thinking about it as a career.
That second year was rough for me. Yeah. So we made it.
I mean, would you say this off season has been the most top secret season amongst professional anglers as far as what everybody's running and what everybody's rigging? Like I've had a lot of discussions with guys who are like, now, don't tell anybody, but this is what I'm doing. And then the next guy, and then, like they think it's like the what is that saying? The cat's meow. They think it's like the deal. And then the next guy's like, the next guy's like, I don't know how those guys, and they're like, well, I'm going with, and then you're like, holy cow. And then you hear of the guy who's running
Yeah.
6 transducers with 6 black boxes on 3 on either side of the inside of the rod locker. And you're like, okay, like, is this kind of like a,
Dude, I feel like that's just going to confuse a lot of people. I know that would confuse. It would be like, I don't know. That's just so much going on.
Mhm.
At what point are you like actually fishing and figuring this out?
Are you
Feel like-
allowed to talk to Bass or to talk about what Bass has told you guys about how they're treating this year as far as monitoring and figuring out what they're going to do in 2025 and beyond, as far as maybe
Yeah.
some limitations or rules?
I don't think they've told us like to not say anything.
Mhm. What have they
So-
said then? Like,
Like,
what's
so this year's going to be like kind of like their learning year, if that makes sense. They're going to go through every one of our boats and at the first tournament and like mark down how many transducers we're running, what we're using them for, how many forward facing transducers, all that. And then I think they're going to do like every top 10, see those guys go back to their boat, see how much they used it, like how many fish were caught using them, and reevaluate, I guess is the best way to put it, at the end of the year.
it's a interesting dynamic because Bass has premier and title sponsors for multiple different
Yeah.
electronics companies, so I would imagine they have to walk a fine line between promoting the electronics companies, regardless whether it's Johnson Outdoors or Lowrance, Garmin, any of those,
Yeah.
and then potentially saying, hey, we're going to limit this, because if I'm one of those 3 companies, I mean, I want these things to be like galactic spaceships,
Yeah.
because I
I
want
want to sell 12 of them per boat. But I mean, yeah, it's a weird deal that I think that they're having a fight. And I think that's why we're still, this year all out. I think they're really just waiting for it to die.
You think
down.
guys are going overboard this year from what
Absolutely.
you've heard, just because they know it might be the last year that they get to just kind of have free reign over it?
I don't think it's that. I think it's more of like they're trying to keep up with the Jones. That makes sense.
There's like FOMO, fear
if,
of missing out. Like,
Yeah.
if you're the guy who only has one.
if Vegeta's got 6, like, oh, we gotta have 6 just to compete, which I think is dumb. But I don't know. I think that's what it is.
You room with Cobb. Let me see if I get this right. Cobb.
Yep.
The Baby Shark.
Yep.
Clint Davis.
Yep.
And Patrick Walters.
That's a heck of a crew.
Is Clint always grumpy? He always seems grumpy to me. I don't really know him personally. I just knew him a little bit when he fished for
No.
Montevallo, and then obviously he's got a championship under his belt.
Yeah.
But just he always just
He's
seems
the
like that
least
guy
grumpy- they-
who you say hi to in the morning and he just goes, hops in the boat. Did I totally misjudge that?
That is the farthest thing from
Really?
Clint.
Like, should
He
I
is
have him on the
biggest
show?
Yeah, dude. Clint is the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Like,
I didn't say it was mean. I just said
Yeah, no,
he just seems
he's
like
not
that guy
grumpy.
who, like, you say hi to him and he's just
Oh,
like,
no.
get out of my way. I'm on my way to go out to the lake.
I mean,
Can you
he's-
get where I would get that from?
Yeah,
though?
probably because he's still hung over a little bit or something, maybe. But he'll knock them back. But no, dude, Clint, he's the like most easygoing, laid back, just happy-go-lucky, happy to be here. He'll tie on like 3 rods before practice ever starts. Show up to the tournament, and be like, this is probably what I'm going to catch him on. He's going to throw those 3 rods regardless.
So he goes in with a
kills me.
preconceived notion and then just
Yeah.
rides that all the way.
Rides
to the
it
finish
all
line.
the way home.
Because
Cracks me up. We'll all be rigging for like 5 hours. Look over and Clint's just sitting back, just laughing and smiling.
now I would think Cobb would be like that too, because it seems like Cobb throws like 3 things. Like, he's always got
Yeah.
like a wacky worm, some sort of a wacky worm, a buzz bait.
Yeah,
And-
I mean, Cobb has his things that he knows he's good at, and he doesn't overcomplicate things. But at the same time, that is the smartest, most, I'm not going to say analytical, but he's like the smartest fisherman I think I've ever been around, as far as like just learning the fish, how they want that wacky worm. Dude, it's crazy. I don't know how much I can tell about his
everyone
stuff.
kind of has their
So,
own little
but it's
little
crazy.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's interesting. Like your group, everyone has like their own little niche that's kind of their jam.
Yeah, for sure. And like, you know, Cobb and Shane, they work together like hardcore. So it's pretty much like they tell each other everything. Me and Patrick kind of have that same deal going on. Patrick's just way better.
What makes him better, in your opinion?
His mentality.
So it's all in between the ears. It's
Yeah.
not the actual like fishing ability. It's all his mentality when he dumps the boat in the water.
Yeah, I feel like when you get to this point, like at the Elite Series, the fishing ability, dude, everybody can catch them, but between the ears is where it goes down. He thinks he is going to catch 30 pounds. Doesn't matter what happened in practice.
River, Lake St. Clair, it doesn't matter where you guys are.
That and how quick he makes decisions is ridiculous. I mean, he'll pull up, make 3 casts, and like, this ain't it today. He might have like caught like 20 pounds off this spot in practice, roll up to the Mississippi River last year.
Yep.
Had a spot that he was like, dude, I'm going to crack him there. Rolls up to it first thing that morning. I think he said he made 2 casts, caught like a 10-incher, and he's like, something didn't feel right. Completely bails. How do you do that?
You talk about Cobb being dominant. Back in the earlier days of BTO, we always had him on like before he was the Brandon Cobb. He was just this dude who dominated. I mean, dominated like Savannah River, South Carolina BFLs. Like, try this on for size. Like, you know how hard it is to have a top 10 finish. I don't care what tournament you're in. So he fished 105 FLW events, 32 top 10s.
Good God.
So 1 out of every 3 times he launched his boat,
top 10.
He top 10.
That's stout.
That's really strong.
That is stout.
And then didn't he win like 2 or 3 elites one year? That year he won on
I know.
Fork,
didn't he win like
Walters has gone on
he
a
won
couple
back
runs.
to back. Yeah. Walters just impresses me by look at his AOY finishes. What's his lowest on that one? Sorry to throw that one at you.
It's all good. Thankfully, my mom made me do typing tutor when I was a kid.
Oh, that's cute.
I type a lot of words per minute.
It's impressive.
It is. His Angler of the Year finishes. Oh, it doesn't have it. It doesn't have it per year on there.
Oh, yeah, you got to go through like every year. I mean, you don't have to look lower than 7th, I think.
Yeah, everything is. He doesn't have many tanks. Like they're all, bad tournament is like a 50s.
Yeah, no. So like they send out at the end of the year, basically like everyone's AOY average.
So that's to determine like if you need to step it up the next year.
That's like the requalify.
Yeah, which is good. I commend Bass for doing that because in past years, I remember like Carl Jacobson was fishing like towards the end of a year and had no clue. Like, does a 12-pound limit get me requalified?
Yeah.
Do I have to catch 20 pounds? Am I fishing? Like, am I out of it? Like, he didn't know. And he had like a tournament left. So I think it's important, especially if you're fishing at the top level, you need to know like where the hell you are in the standings, because that kind of changes what you do, how many risks you take.
Yeah, for sure. But so they send that out, and it was either 3 or 4 was his AOY average. Like,
yeah,
what? That's great. Now that is 1 drop.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he dropped a 7th place.
That's crazy. Oh, you're past it. Do you get to drop now?
Next year. I feel like that's my hump.
You get.
I get to go over.
How does that work then? Every
5 years.
You get to drop your worst Angler of the Year finish.
Yep.
Now you had a strong year this year.
Yeah, this year was good.
Yeah.
Besides the Sabine. Oh, the Sabine.
Is that just because you couldn't scope, or is that?
I
thought
I was
mental block?
Here's one thing: never think you're going to win a tournament. Like I told everybody I was going to win that tournament. That was stupid. I had a really good practice, like really good. I thought. So I roll up in this spot, dude. It was on the Neches River. Haven't caught anything like on the rest of the entire river. I roll up in this backwater like pond, find it. It's got hydrilla. Haven't seen hydrilla anywhere else. Mm-hmm. And there's like a 4-foot deep like channel that winds through it on low tide. So all that hydrilla flat like funneled down into that little creek
So they had
channel.
nowhere else to go.
It was dumb. Well, I roll in there with the buzzbait, going down that edge, catch like a 1 pound bass.
That's
So
a good
then,
one.
yeah, it's giant.
That's what they call a Sabine River
Giant.
kicker.
Yeah. So then I'm rolling through there and I see like giant weight coming up behind it and it just rolls on it. I'm like, nope, not setting the hook on that. Dude, like 4 more like that, just like really big ones, and caught like 1 or 2 other little bass. I was like, man, I'm gonna blow this out. I don't know how long it can last, but if it can last, I'm gonna win. Roll in there, and I had a redfish beatdown, son. It was phenomenal.
They weren't bass.
It was not bass. Should have set the hook on one of them. Did in the tournament, and yeah, that first day I think I had 3 pounds.
And how many redfish did you catch?
Like 7.
Oh my gosh!
They were crushing that buzzbait.
I've never heard of redfish eating buzzbait.
Me neither. But
would they come and like porpoise on it, or would they blow up on it like
it
a
would be
largemouth?
like you'd see the weight coming, and then it would just be the blow up. It was actually pretty fun.
If you weren't fishing for
If I
$100
wasn't
grand
fishing
and
for
trying to
100
make a
grand.
living doing it.
Yeah, I think I finished like 92nd
finished
in that
90th.
one. 90th. Yeah,
9
worst,
pounds, 12 ounces. It's like the only tournament you didn't cash a check in this entire
worst
year.
finish of my career. Yeah.
How long? I mean, after how many did you realize I'm totally screwed? Like after how
well,
many redfish?
that was the problem. So I had to wait for tide to get low.
Oh, so you were like, oh,
Dude,
they'll suck it down,
yeah.
and then the bass will start biting. So then you were pot committed by the time
Yep.
you realized it was too late.
At 12 o'clock, it finally like started to go to low tide because we had that weird wind or something. So tide was taking longer. So yeah, 12 o'clock finally starts dropping. I'm like, oh, I'm going to crack them now. I cracked them.
I remember when I was covering the Elite Series, one of the last times, so it would have been 17, 18, somewhere around there. I was doing like a practice vlog or whatever. So I went out with Skylar Hamilton, and he kind of had the same thing happen. He got in a little deal that had some cypress or something in it, and he's flipping around and he catches like a 1.5 pound or 2 pounder. He was super pumped. And he flips back in there and gets another bite. And, you know, it's like just this little cut. And he's like, I'm done with the hook. He takes the hook off and he shakes off like a dozen. And he goes back in the tournament, catches a bass first thing. He said, I thought it was done. Like I'm going to smash him.
Yeah.
Every other fish, he said, everyone he shook off bit, and they were all mudfish. one bass and a dozen Grinnell in this area. And he was just totally screwed.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know what you do on a situation like that where the big bites are so hard to come by. So it's like, I don't know. That's what I was thinking. Hey, I caught a couple bass. Don't set the hook on the big ones. I don't know. Next time I'm just going.
There's only a few fisheries where that happens, though.
Yeah.
So like down at Venice, when I rode with Kelly Jordan on the first day of the Classic, I think I told this story recently. Maybe I didn't tell it on air. Anyway, I wanted to go with a guy who I knew was going to Venice. That was the year of the radar, where everybody put the radar that was very detrimental to their health directly behind their heads on the back deck.
It's worth it. Catch a bass.
So anyway, I called Kelly up like 3 months before the Classic, and I was like, hey, you plan on going to Venice? He's like, yeah, I'm going to Venice. I said, you sure? He's like, yeah, no, it's the only place I'm going to fish in the Classic. I said, all right, I'm going to put into Marshall with you for the first day because I just want to do that run. And we're like, you know, see like dolphins on the way down there. It's calm. He gets a tip, but it's super foggy. He gets down, he's got this mat that's like probably the size of 2 of these tables. And that's like, he's got an hour to fish, basically. And he flips in and donk, and he sets the hook, and it's a bull red. And like 5 seconds later, the mat's gone. It's like he's just standing there, like he unhooks it, and it's like there's no mat to flip. Like the mat is just decimated, just chunks this size floating all over. And he like that was his Classic. Like he said it was every pitch in there, like he was catching a 3 pounder.
Dude, I mean, what do you do at that point?
He ended up going down one bank of reeds, and he caught 10, 11 pounds.
Yeah.
And he's like, And we went back, got gas, ran through all the oyster beds, ran back through the ocean, ran back through all the canals, everything. And he, like, one redfish totally screwed his entire classic.
Oh my God.
So
did he fillet it?
No, he wasn't. He was not very happy with it, though.
I think.
But, you know, one of those deals where if it's not, it's like, dude, I just like punched a redfish on 60-pound braid. Like,
it was
would
awesome.
Be epic, like so much fun to do, but not in the Bassmaster Classic on day one. All right, we're gonna take our first break of the show. When we come back, more. Oh, we're gonna get your BaitFuel guy, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get into this BaitFuel thing.
Let's go.
You're pretty candid. You're pretty candid about the technology thing. We're gonna dive into the sense in the BaitFuel after it. It's BTL. Today Wednesday?
Sure.
Is today Wednesday? Yep, Wednesday, January 10th. Justin Hamner, Elite Series Pro in studio. We'll be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
Everything you need, one legendary brand. Top one, Strike King.
All right, guys, if you're a construction worker, soccer dad, soccer mom, you want to be outdoors, you've seen the Reaper. This right here is the zip-up full Reaper, but it's windproof, folks, windproof. And it actually has the mast built in. It's behind me. I mean, if you can look good, feel good, and stay warm, you better check it out. It's the zip-up Reaper. That's right, windproof.
Elite Series Pro Daryl Gleason here. My Pro Guide batteries keep me going on those long tournament days and long practice days. Always plenty of juice, never fail. The best part about Pro Guide batteries, it's the people behind the company. They have over 40 years experience in the battery business, keeping all of us fishermen out on the water longer, catching more fish. Check them out at ProGuideBatteries.com.
What's up, Bass Talk Live fans? Brandon Polnick here. And ever since I won a couple Bassmaster Elite Series events on X-Zone Lures, I've been getting a bunch of questions of what makes them so special and different. And really, the truth is, it's in the details. The little details, things like no cheap fillers in their plastic. That gives you more lifelike action, more realistic and vibrant colors. But don't just take my word for it. Go to www.xzonelures.com and check them out for yourself.
I'm the kind of guy that never leaves the house without a pocket knife, and Gamakatsu's come out with the EDC series of knives. EDC stands for everyday carry, so whether you're on the water or off, you can always have it with you. The best thing about it to me is that assisted open feature. With this D2 blade, you've got it right here at your fingertips, so if you can't find your scissors, you need to cut a knot, you need to cut your braid, you've always got it. Make sure you check it out. Never leave home without your Gamakatsu EDC knife.
Born in Japan, using technology, innovation, and precision, Sunline produces the widest selection of fishing lines at the most technologically advanced line factory in the world. Manufactured at the strictest tolerances to produce victories at the highest levels of tournament bass fishing. From household names like Christie, Swindle, and Cruz, to young guns like Cook, Logan, New, and Welcher, they all trust Sunline to take them to the top of the leaderboard. Choose the line that will give you the strength to guarantee your confidence. Sunline.
All right, welcome back. BTL on a Wednesday. Justin Hamner in studio. It was about like a 10-hour drive.
10 hours. Yeah.
That's not bad. I look at drives differently now.
Like,
driving across like 10 hours is just a solid drive.
As long as you can make it in a day, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like that, I think it's 14 hours. That's the point that starts getting to me.
Do you guys, where you live, is there anywhere
just
the Elite
north
Series goes that's more than 14 hours?
Yeah. Like Champlain's like 21, 22.
Really? I thought it was closer than that. I would have guessed like 12 or 13.
Yeah, but that's really the only bad one. Oahe, That was that was like a 26 or 7. That was a different planet up there.
Do you feel more pressure to do well on events where you're spending way more money and way more time to get up there than you do on ones that are closer to you? No, doesn't even cross your mind. Like, man, I'd really like to. I mean, I'm another couple grand into this one.
Yeah, no, that doesn't cross my mind. I just want to dig in all of them.
So you're a American Baitworks guy.
Yeah.
What is all the American Baitworks stuff?
Halo rods, Freedom tackle, net bait, BaitFuel, Scumfrog.
All right.
Yeah.
Off air, like no BS. I mentioned the BaitFuel, and I was like, I don't know, man. I've had a bottle of that stuff. I got it when we went up north, soaked all my stuff, and it basically just made it really hard to put on a Ned rig. We were like shooting out of my hands and stuff.
You pick it up in the worm, just like
I couldn't rig anything. But like,
put the bait on
listen,
first.
I know you're a sponsored angler by them, which is what I said private. But like off air, you're pretty candid. Like you have no reason. You're sold on this stuff.
If you knew how much BaitFuel me and Patrick used this year, it's dumb. Like we went through bottles and bottles of it. We've seen too much stuff that it just like this can't be a coincidence anymore.
Okay, can you tell some stories?
Yeah. All right. Actually, my best story probably it doesn't even have to do with fish. So,
oh god,
yeah. So we were in the bedroom one night.
Hand me that BaitFuel.
Yeah. No. So, me and Patrick were camping out and grilling steaks. Threw away all the trash, left it out in the trash, left the trash bag out at the camper. And of course, raccoon comes in, gets a hold of the trash. I'm not lying to you. That bottle, there was an empty bottle of BaitFuel in that trash bag. All that was left was like a little bit of plastic and then like the head spout. Whatever, the white little spout.
So you're saying even though we can't smell it or something, nature can.
There was steak. There was like pieces of steak. There was like, thrown away.
That they didn't eat.
Didn't eat. He ate the BaitFuel bottle. That blew my mind. Like,
so that was when you were like, there might be some connection to.
Yeah, I mean, I've done the whole deal where like, oh yeah, I wasn't getting as many bites. Oh, I think this helped.
Yeah, see, that's like BS.
Yeah, like okay, but the only like,
especially the guys who get paid by BaitFuel, like
yeah, we're obviously gonna say that, but like, there was one time at Pickwick in my Marshall, it was pretty funny. So I'm sitting there fishing a ledge, and dude, I mean, obviously I can see them on the Panoptics. I'm throwing in there a freaking Magnum, trick worm, plum, apple. Throwing it on this ledge. Dude, could not get them to bite. And I swear to you, this was like right after it came out. I put some on it I caught 4 in forecast. Now they might have just got fired up then. I don't know. But I swear I'd thrown at them for like 20 minutes. Couldn't get them to bite. In the very next cast, freaking catch one. Ended up 4 in a row. Yeah. That kind of stuff's like happened several times. But that raccoon thing, I think that's what sold me.
Here, I'm gonna pull this up just for the viewers who aren't totally dialed in on what it is. So it's a fish attractant.
Yep.
And
it doesn't have a smell.
It does not have a smell. It's like putting watery Vaseline on your bait.
It's KY jelly.
It is the viscosity of KY jelly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, I don't think I have. It's what I would imagine the viscosity of KY jelly to be like. I've never personally.
You're missing out.
But I'm just saying, to me, it's like watery Vaseline.
Yeah, for sure.
And
the whole thing, like the science or whatever, they had all like
they came out. They had the ultimate marketing deal. They came out with it with the science that's like, even though you can't smell it, the fish can. It's not based on what it smells like. And then they must have had some coordinated deal, because I remember everybody all at once was like, I've never caught a fish in my life before I started using BaitFuel. Now I'm on the Elite Series. Like, it was.
That's the only reason
it was a coordinated marketing effort. And then like that's why I'm asking you about it, because I still have buddies that have no skin in the game that are like bait fuel. But then I also have buddies, and I'm one of those guys. Like, I have it in the boat. I can go show you. It's like in my boat right there. But I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm not sold on it. I just think it makes my stuff super slimy.
It does. But no. All right, this is my perception of it. Try it more for largemouth. I don't know why. Like the smallmouth, yeah, it's cool. Whatever. All the scents up there. I just like finding dumb smallmouth. That's how I catch those.
Yeah.
Like largemouth, where it's at. For real.
And then, so are you a soaker or a guy who just puts a little bit on? Like, are you like, hey, I've got like a tournament in a month, I'm going to make sure these worms get a good marinade?
I do it like the night before, which now, you know, NetBait, like all their products pretty much now come with the BaitFuel infused.
That's good. You're learning. You wouldn't have been able to drop that line like 3 years ago. You're becoming a true pro before our very eyes.
It's terrible.
But so they come with BaitFuel, so it's like
it's like actually already baked into it. And like little trick on that, like go ahead and like kind of rough up your worm a little bit, because like when it's still brand new, before like it gets the teeth marks, it doesn't like come out and release as good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, like how you see the salt coming out.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the Berkeley stuff with the max scent, like how it gets kind of roughed up and then it seems to work a little bit better. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've had more success with largemouth.
Night before.
Yeah, the night before. If you do it too long, it like it's Zoom, I guess. It's probably the worst. It starts to swell because it is that water based. But also I think that's one of the reasons it's good. It's because it is that water based.
All right, I'll have to give it another shot.
Science.
Available at omniafishing.com, $9.99. I don't know if I have a BTL code for Omnia this year. Probably should check on that. Kind of behind on some 2024 stuff.
Oh yeah,
it snuck up on me this year. Like snuck up.
I'm
on
the
me
worst
so
on codes.
fast.
You give me a code, I'm not.
Oh, trust me, I do a show for a living, and I've got codes for all these. I like maybe we'll give them like once a year. Occasionally, one of the marketing guys will be like, "Hey,
write it down.
Hey, like, can we try to promote that code a little bit, like to save the guys some money?"
Dude, that's what I've been like selling people on the Bass Tank Academy.
Yeah,
this guy's like, "Dude, have you used the code?" And it was like, "I have a code."
Are
like,
you doing content for that?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do some of that this afternoon, and then tomorrow, once my boat gets rigged, we're gonna do some in-depth, like how I dial it in.
Yeah, that's kind of Scott's kind of pet project this year. You know, obviously the Bass Tank rigging, sales of all the electronics, but the Bass Tank Academy, and he's been in and talked about it numerous times in the process
Scott
of building.
Much.
Yeah, good Lord. You could ask Scott how to turn on a unit, and 18 minutes later you understand the like electrical circuit board behind it as to why the unit turns on when you hit the on button, and you're like, I just want to know how to turn it on, Scott.
But at the same time, I feel like that's what makes it so good.
Yeah, that's what makes it good. But he's building a database using Gleason, Tyler Anderson from Tyler's Real Fishing, Scott, a bunch of the technology experts.
Yeah. And just like other guys that just use it all the time. You know, that's what I feel like. It's going to be good just because it's going to be like two sides of the thing.
Once it's a complete library and you guys get to put all the tips and tricks in there. But I
wish I could record how many hours like I've spent with Livescope. Is there a way to find that out?
Like how many hours? Because it's kind of like fishing. Like you look at motor hours, and if you put like, I'd say 300 hours on a motor in a year, you're like, yeah, you really, really, really fished.
Yeah.
But then you have to extract that 300 hours that the motor was running. So you weren't like fishing that time. Like that's when you're idling. So it's probably the same because your unit's on for 15 hours a day.
Yeah. I'd like to have like a total number of hours I've spent staring at that stupid screen.
Did you fish anything last year that didn't involve some sort of looking at Livescope, looking at them? Like, was there any?
I don't think there's any situations anymore where you can fully say that you can't use Livescope.
Who uses it the least on the Elite Series? Is it John Cox?
Yeah, because he don't have it.
Oh, he still doesn't even have it?
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty certain he's still. But Lee Livesey doesn't. He's pretty hardcore against it, and Cobb hates it.
Really?
We got into so many debates about that.
See, that's weird because I know Cobb's a shallow water, look at him, guy, that type of thing. But you would think, especially in the Carolinas, like it's damn near impossible to fish out there now without it. And he still is dominant.
Hates it.
Really? Does he hate it from day one, or he just hates it because his stuff isn't as effective and guys are now?
Oh no, he hates his deal is the whole aspect of taking the fishing out of fishing. Like whatever that deal.
Huh.
You'll have to argue.
Do you
with him
guys sit
about
around and like drink beer and argue over this stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really? Like get heated, like yelling at each other in the house. Just
him
the
and
five of
Patrick
you
were
guys.
like fired up.
So you've got like one of the most staunch anti-scopers and like the two biggest probably pro scopers.
Yeah.
Where's LaHue sit on it? Is he like in the middle? Doesn't care. He seems pretty laid back.
He's so laid back. I love Shane.
Yeah,
he's the quietest dude, but once you get him talking, it's hilarious. But no, he's full scope, and that's what's funny about him and Cobb working together is like Cobb hates it. So when Shane's like trying to explain, like, oh, this is it, but at the same time, if you saw like the last couple tournaments, that was the first two tournaments, or St. Clair was the first time Cobb turned on his forward-facing sonar. And then he was leading AOI at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then he's like stupidly good with it.
Was it you telling me that? Did we have this was this on a show? I've done so many I can't remember. Was this off air where you were talking about them? Was it World of Warcraft or what game they played that Patrick didn't play but Cobb played?
Apex.
What?
Yeah, Apex.
Have you told that story live on air?
I don't
that was the
so.
deal where you were saying like, dude, Patrick's a freak show because he learned this game and it really pissed Cobb off that he got good at it real quick.
It pissed him off because how good he was.
What was
like,
that? What was that deal? Because that was your way of talking about how good Patrick Walters got with Livescope because he just like picks up that frequency of technology or something.
Yeah. Everything Patrick does is like whenever if he hones in on something, like it's all in until he figures it out, if that makes sense. Like I didn't talk to him for like 2 months near about it, I think, this winter because he was deer hunting like 24 hours a day, I feel like.
I got you.
Like he gets so dialed in and wants to learn every aspect of every little thing and like just goes above and beyond.
But what was that video game that Cobb is really good
it's
at?
Called Apex. Cobb's like,
and then Walters picked it up and was beating him like within a month.
No, he wasn't beating him. Now Cobb is like ridiculously good, but Cobb got mad just by how good he got so quickly.
That's the same thing with Scope.
Yeah, but he definitely still couldn't beat Cobb.
It's no surprise that you are known for what you can do with a jerkbait. In fact, on your Bassmaster profile, your signature technique is listed as jerkbait and Livescope.
Oh, dang.
Have you?
I did it before it was cool.
What is that? What does that mean?
I don't know. Jerkbait's been my thing like way before Livescope ever come out.
Hank Cherry, Kelly J, that type of stuff.
Yeah, like that.
Greg Vinson. There's like a bunch of kind of closet jerkbaiters. That sounds weird to say. That sentence.
Sitting over there in the closet with BaitFuel.
But you know, the guys who keep them in the boat year round, whether it's a old school Rogue, a mega bass, something like that they're catching them in May, June, July, September, October, November, when all the rest of the guys don't have it. So you were considered yourself a
jerkbait,
aficionado before Livescope even existed.
No doubt. And I was like, I feel like that's why, for me at least, the Livescope deal took off so quickly with me. That was already the fish I was chasing. That's how I, have done good all my life, is like trying to find that different deal nobody else is doing. And that's suspended fish. I love suspended fish. And that's what I was targeting way before Livescope ever come out. And then Livescope comes out and I can see them. It's no brainer. But
Brian said it's called Apex Legends. It's kind of like Fortnite.
Okay.
That's the game.
I don't play video games.
Yeah, neither do I. I played Sonic the Hedgehog. My cousin got me a used Sega Genesis for Christmas one year. I played Sonic the Hedgehog like maybe 10 times, and that's my extent.
Crushed it.
All right. Are you willing to divulge some trade secrets with jerk baits on this thing, or is that something you kind of keep close to the vest?
No, I'm good.
All right. What makes a good live scope jerk bait?
Casting distance.
Okay.
That's huge. Like, yeah, you want it to have good action, but you want to be able to cast. I don't know. That's probably my biggest thing. If I can, I like to set that live scope like 120, 130, and I need a jerk bait that I can reach them at like 110, 120.
Holy cow.
So
that's a cast.
Yeah.
Like a good cast is 75 to 80.
I want to bomb it.
Why? You get more time.
Stay away from them. The amount of fish, that's what's, especially as more and more people are using live scope, the amount of fish that will bite or commit to your bait versus like past 70 foot versus the ones that you hit like closer to 7. Does that make sense?
I
like
mean,
70 foot to 0.
Yeah. Know what your thoughts are on it.
So 70 foot to 0, like the chances of them biting goes down so dramatically.
Because the boat, or because of what they're hearing or feeling with the electronics, or because the bait
I think it's just the boat. I mean, like these fish are getting more and more pressure. They know what a boat is. They know you're there. If I can get to those fish without them knowing I'm there, I'm
drastic difference between a fish
distance.
Following it or acting somewhat interested in a fish just going
like you'll notice like they don't come up and like, oh, come up, oh, he almost bit it, go back down, all that stuff. It's just like, oh, there he goes, just immediately hits it.
So you want a bait that has like a weight transfer system, something that doesn't roll, something that you can bomb. You'll take that over minute action differences any day of the week.
Yeah, all day.
So do you throw it on really light line then?
12.
So you still throw it on 12.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're not throwing it on 8 to get more casting distance.
Absolutely, because I want to boat flip like anything under 4 pounds. We boat flipping.
Okay, so the that 12 isn't like to keep the bait up or sub action. No, it's literally so you can crank like and flip.
10 pound, you get better action out of 10 pound. You could probably throw it a little bit further. I want to boat flip them.
If I ask any questions that are too personal, just let me know. We can go a different route. Bill, shape. There's like the 110.
Yeah.
There's the Spro plus 2s, like all of the brands have a deep diver versus that. Are you?
So this is something I did keep close to me for a long, long time. Patrick let it out of the bag on a Wired to Fish video. Appreciate that, Patrick. No, the longer bill, I really, really like the longer bills. Like your plus ones or whatever, like the Yozuri deep diver, that longer bill for fishing around wood. Because now I have a bait with that longer bill, it deflects off of the wood.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with getting the bait deeper quicker. It has to do with being able to fish it in wood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
That was tough for me to tell. That's it turns into like a square bill almost at that point. Because whenever you feel that wood, don't keep, like, when your line's starting to come up on like a tree.
Yeah.
You feel the limb. You start to feel that. Don't jerk again. That's when you can just like slowly pull and it just rolls right over. And then you go back to jerking. So now you got essentially a square bill crankbait through a laydown that suspends in it. Yeah. I shouldn't have said that.
That makes a lot of sense. Open water, nothing around. Are you going with the standard lip over a deep diver? There's some guys that swear by the action of just the shorter lip as opposed to the deep diver, being able to keep it high. You're equal opportunity.
I keep the deep diver on 90 to 95% of the time.
The deep diver. So the plus one, the Yozuri. What's the Yozuri deep diver called?
It's 3dB deep.
3dB
deep. Yep.
3dB deep.
Yep. But so I don't know why, but we don't like advertise it much, but there's a hardcore, which is like Yozuri's, I guess, Japanese brand. They make a 130. It's the dual hardcore minnow 130 SP.
Duo, D-U-O?
Dual.
D-U-E-O.
Yep.
That's that Northport, Alabama accent.
Dual.
Oh, they make a Duo
Roll
Realis
Tide.
jerkbait too.
Yeah.
That looks freaking awesome. Dual.
Hardcore.
That'll be an interesting search result.
Dual hardcore.
Dual hardcore 3D.
No, that one's just the hardcore minnow.
Okay.
The Yozuri is 3DB.
The dual hardcore minnow 70.
130.
Oh, the 130.
If you're wanting casting distance, it's got like 2 giant tungsten weight transfer balls. That's the one you can get out there.
No, that's the minnow flat. They
Yeah,
got a
that
bunch
might-
of jerk baits, bro.
Yeah. A lot of it's like,
You guys can look that up.
yeah, the flat minnow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the 95.
Yeah, they got 95, 110, and a 130.
I'll just
Anyways,
throw that
that's
up.
the one you can bomb.
Okay. Just because of the weight transfer.
Yeah, it's so heavy. Yeah, like super heavy. But the only thing I don't like, it doesn't have the deep diamond bill.
Oh, no, that was the right
But-
one then. Oh, that one says floating, but you want one that suspends.
Yeah, don't get the floating. Dude, that some gun floats. Like I wasn't ready, but I was like expecting a little bit slower float. It's like a cork. It just
Hook wise, are you changing everything out?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to do on that. Like, especially on my mixed sticks, I like how you can keep that bait up. I'll put a 5 on the front just because that's what Mike McClellan does, or a 4 on the front and the extra split ring. But when it comes to the other, like a mega bass, like I'm not going to pretend that we don't all throw mega bass too.
yeah.
I struggle as far as like being afraid that I'm getting that sucker out of weight by adding different hooks to it. Like, what are you doing hook wise as for A, depth, action, and B, hookup ratio?
So hookup ratio to me is the most important. But at the same time, if you screw up the action, you're not going to get bit. I don't know. I use number 6s, but I immediately change those mega bass hooks out.
You don't like the out barbs?
No. For one, if you get hooked by them, good luck. Good luck.
Have you been buried by a
Dude,
out
it
barb?
sucks so many times.
You got one? Past the
Yeah.
barb with an out barb?
Oh yeah,
What do
like
you
3
do?
times. Just rip it.
Oh,
Grip it
come
and
on,
rip it.
dude.
There's nothing you can
Oh,
do.
man.
It
Because you
sucks.
can't do the line trick because that actually buries
Yeah,
it deeper.
it just goes deeper. That's
I've
what-
always wondered that with like the little EWGs, like those would have to be hard to get out.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't got stuck by EWG. I've got a
Remember when Kevin
picture.
put that big giant mustad through his palm at
Yeah,
Toledo Bend?
yeah.
That was an EWG.
I got a picture I need to send you. So when the Strike King 10XDs like first came out, was the deal. I boat flipped like a 3.5 pounder, and when I boat flipped it, it came off, and so like the whole catapult deal from the rod being bent, the 10XD shoots up, and it went inside my nose. I don't know what size hook that is. Was it like a 1/0?
Yeah.
But it like, I don't know how it perfectly did it, but it went up into my nose and like hit that hard part back up in there.
Come on, dude.
So ever since then, it's like,
Did it go past the barb?
oh yeah,
How'd
yeah.
you get it out?
Oh, I had to go to the doctor. Like
You
I
got a
tried
picture
pulling
right
it. Yeah,
now? Pull it up. We'll show it.
it was rough.
Were you by yourself?
No, my dad was with me.
What did
and-
he say?
Oh, he was just
He just-
freaking out. He
Because
was
you
like,
couldn't see it. Like he just looked at you and went, you immediately knew it was bad.
I mean, because I tried to like pull it immediately, and like the adrenaline's still going. You don't like feel the pain, I guess, yet. So I started like trying to pull it, and then I grabbed pliers and like try to pull it. Sorry to get gross, but like the inside of my nose starts like,
The cartilage.
yeah. He's like, pulling it out. I'm like, all right, that ain't gonna happen. So yeah, we had to go to the doctor. The worst part of it all, though, when they go to like numb it, dude, they have to put the needle in the same hole where the hook was already at. They had to like hold me down.
Pull that picture up. Yeah. I don't care how long it takes to find it. We're going to show that. Clint said that's a spine crawling story.
I'm sorry,
Everyone
guys.
Here's giving the throwing up emoji.
Like half the people just tuned out.
Yeah. Livescope and Gore. We're just in it straight for the views this morning. Talking.
Throw a little BaitFuel lube in there.
Talking about other anglers, talking about BaitFuel, Livescope, and
y'all want to throw in some Randy Blockett?
yeah. We watched some Randy Blockett last night.
We did. It's pretty good. What was that one thing he said?
Mm-hmm.
What was that one thing he said last night that you got such a kick out of?
I couldn't remember.
Oh yeah, the guys that cut him off.
Yeah, that video where he's like, you got to be careful, approaching guys who cut you off. He goes, because they could just pull out a 9mm and blow you away. And I was like, dang, that escalated kind of quickly.
Escalated real quick.
I mean, that went from like, hey man, like I'm fishing this bank to just like you're in pieces floating around the lake. I mean, that's how hard. I mean, it went from 0 to 100 like instantly. Man. And I'm like, yeah, that honestly, that thought's never even crossed my mind on the lake. He's like, you don't know how unstable these people are out there. Like, they could just pull a 9mm out and blow you into pieces.
Oh
that's what I did. We were sitting there watching. I just turned to you and I go, well, that escalated quickly.
That was so good.
You getting close to finding it?
Yeah. I think I'm in the right year.
How long ago was it?
Right when the 6X or 10XDs came out.
So you either back up your phone or you haven't dropped one in the lake.
I back them up.
Waves, Currents, and Ice says, yeah, not that many people are outright murderous.
It's just like immediately think the worst. Hey, did you cut me off?
I always joke with, or either they do that Dateline 2020 where there's that one guy's like, now when most people find a body in their house, they call the police. But you didn't do that, did you? Is it Keith Morrison who does that? I can see that now when most people get cut off, they just yell at the guy and move on with their lives. But you didn't do that, did you?
Nope.
All right. We got to take one more break. So we'll take a final break of the show.
I'll find it during the break.
Scroll and find it. And we're back. When we come back from the break, Justin Hamner with a 10XD hook up his nose. It's BTL on a Wednesday. We'll be back right
Nobody's coming back.
Have you considered purchasing new electronics for your rig? The type of mounts you choose to protect your investment should be part of the decision-making process. No matter if you prefer 1, 2, or 3 graphs up front, Beatdown Outdoors has a solution for you. Adjustable, versatile, rigid, and made in the USA. What's your ultimate electronics setup? Check out the full selection of Beatdown Outdoors products by visiting beatdownoutdoors.com.
The great thing about the new Sensation soft plastics from Big Bite Baits, heavily scented, super soft, buoyant, comes in 7 great new shapes. I've got a couple of them of my signature series, the cliffhanger worm and the ramtail craw. Great for a flipping jig, football jig, swim jig, all that. Several other great shapes. Really excited about it. We've worked over the last year, catches fish all over the country, and I think it's going to catch fish for people everywhere you try it.
The Spro Little John crankbait has been around for almost 15 years, and it is one of my go-to crankbaits whenever I need a fish in the boat, so you can never have enough new colors. That's why Spro's coming out with a handful of new colors, including Pearl Shad, which has this bleached out white look, but it's got this pearlescent, really pretty. We've got Copper Shad, which looks amazing in the water. It's got that purple flake on the back, really pops in the water. And then if you want some real pop, we've got Sparkle Shad, nothing but sparkles all over this thing. And then last but not least, we've got the matte Sexy Shad, just a really different looking color for a crankbait. So you want to give them a little different look, that matte sexy shad is definitely the one to go with. All these colors are available in the original Little John and the MD.
All right, welcome back, BTL on a Wednesday. Talking with Justin Hamner in studio, and for the last 2.5 minutes, you've been furiously scrolling through your phone trying to find
It's in one of these albums.
trying to find a 10XD that you put up your nostril. Let me look up the 10XD. Now, was that a replacement hook on that?
No, that was just stock.
Okay.
Big old barb.
Let's go to Omnia. Look up the old 10XD crankbait. All right, let's add that. Let's see if it says what it comes with. What the 10XD, what hook the 10XD comes with.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, 1 second. We got to figure out what hook this is. Hold on. That was on a 10XD. They are number ones, not 1/0s. So that probably screwed you, because a 1/0, you have a fairly normal looking nose to me. Like, you don't have an abnormally large schnoz. So a 1/0 probably wouldn't have made its way in there, but a number 1 was perfect for it. All right, yeah. I gotta show this to the camera, then we might be.
I sent it.
After. Oh, you sent it to me?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Okay.
I didn't know if you could like upload it or something.
Oh my gosh, that doesn't even look like you.
Dude, I told you this was a long time ago.
All right, I gotta show that. I'm gonna just show the camera instead of spend all the time doing that. Let's see.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's up in there. And I think like at this time it was like probably flip phones. Yeah. So yeah, the picture quality probably ain't the best.
No, there you go. So you're laying down at this point.
Yeah.
And you realize it didn't like pierce the outside. It was like in the cartilage on the inside of the schnoz.
Yep. Didn't come out, nothing. It was like, the best part was like, so we go to the hospital, you know, my dad takes me to the hospital. I'm sitting there in the waiting room and I have a 10XD just like holding it up on the side of my face. And there's this little old lady, probably 90 years old. She just looks at me. She said, "Catch any fish?" I was like, "Yes, ma'am. That's pretty good before that."
And you had it like holding it up.
Oh, yeah. I was like literally holding it on the side of my face.
Where was this?
At the hospital.
What location?
Oh, Wheeler. No, actually Wilson.
Okay, so they were used to people coming in with hooks and all
sorts
of
they actually
weird
had
places.
Like a little like mat thing, like a shadow box on the wall with all the different hooks that they've taken out. And but no, I wouldn't let them have it. Because dude, they were freaking wrecking that thing.
So did you guys go back on the lake?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Right after that. Cracked them.
How did they get the actual like barb out?
They had to like actually cut it. Like, so they had like the scaffold and had to like cut around it to slide it out. Yeah.
So I don't think I've showed this photo. I don't know if I can even find it.
Oh, we're going to
go there.
We're going.
So we were on Lake Louisville. Would have been 2007 when you were like 6 years old.
Dude,
How
I'm
old
32.
Were you in 2000? Oh, yeah, I guess you're not that much younger than me.
On. I just look says.
Someone, Clint wants to know what that hook smelled like.
Smelled like that 3-pounder's throat.
Hold on, I gotta find my photos here. I'll get on Facebook maybe once every 3 months. So, okay, there we go. Photos. So I'm fishing with Jordan Nichols, who now runs like the largest. I think he's Camus and Ranger still dealer in Oklahoma, Nichols Marine, and it's Louisville, so it goes without saying that anything over 3 pounds deserves
Giant.
a hug and a high five.
Yep.
And so he catches it, no problem. We go up there. I go up to give him a high five and a hug, and he is in the middle of a windmill cast with a spitting image.
I don't know what's funnier, that or the spitting image. You brought back so many memories with that.
Yep. I mean, like a windmill cast with a spitting image.
He's going for the dunk.
And I gotta find this thing. I gotta find it.
All right, now we're gonna spend 7 more minutes watching Matt scroll through his phone.
Okay, here it is. I found it. And so one of the treble hooks goes through the cartilage of my ear and pins into my head past the barb. And the bottom one, like the feather treble, goes into my ear canal and past the barb. Follow? So I've got it pinned.
I got you.
I've got it pinned twice. And all these guys are like, so it's Jeff Crete is there because it's like the college national championship. Okay. Wade Middleton and Kelly Jordan. And we're like less than a mile from the boat ramp.
You were just trying to impress them.
So I look at Jordan because it's completely numb, right? Like it just went. That's the last thing I know. And I know it's stuck there. And I look at him and I'm like, is it bad? And he's just like, he does like I vividly remember he goes, but it wasn't like a that's funny laugh. It was like a, oh my God, he's so screwed laugh. You know, one of those laughs that's not good.
The laughing to keep from crying.
And I said, what should we do? He goes, we're going back. So we idle in and they're like, what's wrong? And it was, look, I got the whole sequence here. I think I've told this story one time before. It was one of those where it was one of the deals where it's like, hey, everybody, come look at how bad this guy's screwed. You know what I mean?
He's either got a 13-pounder or something good.
Like, it's like, you got to look at this. Get over here. So this first photo, it's a lineup of people to look at how screwed I am with this spitting image in my ear. So
you never want to be the guy that's like looking, the one everybody's looking at.
So there's that photo. That's a line of three guys waiting to see.
Okay.
That's Kelly and Crete right there, right? And then Mike Hawks. Does that make sense? That's a Texas name, I think. So he tried to get it out first, and he just started like yanking on the ear.
Your face right there. That face looks phenomenal.
So he's trying to get it out of the ear like that. And then that didn't work. And so at about that time, the camera crew showed up. So Wade Middleton was like, we got to get this.
Yeah, I can't miss that.
So here he is. And then if you scroll over. So here I am, my big moment, no cameras. And it's Jeff Crete and Kelly Jordan commenting on how screwed this kid from Oklahoma is while Mike Hawks like rips on my ear. And then what ended up happening was here, I'll zoom in on it a little bit more so you can see this. So this is it. You can see the top hook through the cartilage in the ear and then the bottom hook in the ear canal.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, that's why it reminded me when you set up the nose. So what ended up happening was they ended up having to pull the hook out of the head with pliers and then cut it. So then I had it out of the top part of the ear, the cartilage of the ear, could cut it past the barb and just backed it out. And no, I want to say it was Mike Hawks, Hawkes. Let me see if that. Yeah, Mike Hawks from Texas. He was really freaking good in that area. He probably still is good. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, that's him. So then the bottom one, they line tricked.
Oh. Yeah,
and then we went back fishing.
Yeah. Are you going to have to put like one of those like viewer discretion advised on this?
No.
No.
But anyway, that was my like how you end up with a
Yeah.
with a number
How
4
it goes.
treble hook in the ear canal. But it was like a full, like one of those, you know.
Oh.
And I mean, I just remember it just going, like just sticking, no bounce, nothing. Like, have you ever been like punched in the face?
No.
Like when you get punched in the face, everything just like you don't feel it. Like it just goes. You're just like.
I'll just take your word on that one.
It stuns you like you don't feel it. I mean, I played hockey for so long, like it's bound to happen occasionally. I've never been in a bar fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the fun story.
That was phenomenal.
I always have a fear of like sitting on like a vixen or a spook.
Oh, I did that to the back of my leg.
Sticking myself to the freaking seat while you're out by yourself.
Oh, I haven't thought about that. Don't do that.
Yeah, that one's kind of like a little bit of a fear of mine.
I did do
like
that
just
to
right through the
leg.
cheek, and then you get it through that freaking fiber on the seat, and then I mean, like, how do you do that? You can't see it, you can't move.
You don't want to tear up the seats,
and you don't want to rip the cheek.
I'd rip the cheek.
You'd be in quite the pickle. Oh my god! All right, let's wrap things up with some basic podcast questions. You looking forward to Grand?
Oh, I can't wait. Grand is one of those lakes that, like, even when I was a kid, just seeing it, how it sets up and how it fishes, like it feels like my home lake. Like, I don't know, the whole every way it sets up. I love it. Boat docks, like the rock transitions, that whole deal, shallow wood, brush piles. I love all that.
You think Hank Cherry would have won that classic if he changed the out barbs out?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dude, that fish was huge.
Do you remember watching that?
Yeah, so that they showed that slow motion replay like 13 times that day.
Were you a jerkbait guy then even?
Oh yeah.
That was the one that Cliff Pace won.
Yeah.
So it would have been 2013, so it would have been a decade ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, like that tournament, because like one of my favorite ways other than jerkbait is like finesse jigs. So I don't know. That might be the tournament that like really made me like Grand Lake.
It is good. All right. You're headed back up to the Bass Tank tomorrow.
Yeah.
To do some content for
everything.
Yeah, but for the Bass Tank
Academy.
Yeah. I'll put the link to the Bass Tank Academy so I get that royalty.
No, use my program.
No, you're on this show. I'm getting that
get a little
that high end royalty check.
So what do I get for coming on the show?
You're sponsored by the Bass Tank. That's like part of your job. You're promoting it.
All right, just put both of ours up and then we'll see who's.
Well, maybe
gets
if you got
more.
on it and got a YouTube channel, you could put the link on your channel.
I have a YouTube channel.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I just only have 3 videos from 12 years ago.
What do you have up on there?
Nothing yet. I'm
What
working on it. Justin Hamner fishing. I think I have like a drop shot video for.
I look up Justin Hamner fishing. I don't even see you show up.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is, right there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you have 79 subscribers. We got to work on this.
Whoa. Yeah, I have. Was it 2 videos?
Oh, you have a logo? Like the little deal with the H?
Oh yeah.
Is that still your logo?
Yeah. Oh, I have it on one of my cups. Yeah. You got to help me out on this whole branding thing.
I'm horrible at it. Like I said, I don't even have a
There's
Instagram
BTL
or a
everything.
Facebook for BTL. I do my
Okay,
Instagram.
You do need that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I do my Instagram and the website.
Yeah. Because I've never been the guy to like really put myself out there. I'm just worried about fishing.
No, we're gonna go for a little bit longer. Pete just asked a question.
Oh, let's hear it, Pete.
Didn't you fish with Hillary Martin at the Team USA Bassin Championship?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
All right. So you want to talk about someone who has their branding down? Like obviously the whole Martin family, starting with the patriarch Roland, but then with what Scott does and then what Hillary does. Is she as good as she comes across in all of her videos? Like she seems like she knows her.
Dude.
I've never met her. She seems like she like knows how to bass fish.
Like It surprised. I don't know. Maybe I sound bad
No,
for saying it surprised me, but it did surprise me.
She's 8. I think she's 18. So anytime you're going to fish
like,
with someone that's that young, that's just fished high school, you're going to have certain expectations. But she seems like she like dots her I's and crosses her T's, like knows how to bass fish.
Yeah, girl or not, like 18 years old was legit, like actually legit. Now there were some things like when we started fishing offshore, like she hadn't done as much.
Yeah, she's from Clewiston, Florida.
Obviously, yeah. But when we like went up shallow and I was like skipping a toad and everything, she was like right there with me. She was throwing, like a regular hollow body, skipping up under bushes, like under docks, no problem.
I think she's
freaking
fish
cracks them on the hooks
next 5 years.
She should.
Because she's doing the college thing. I think she's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
She's good. That was fun. Like the best part of that whole U.S. like championship deal was every morning I'd be like try to get down there early because Roland would be like the first one down there eating breakfast at the hotel.
So you just like pull a chair up next to Roland and be like, "What's up, dude?"
Every morning just sitting there listening to Roland Martin stories. I mean, I would be rolling on the floor.
He's got him
endlessly. That was bar none. That was the best part.
That whole experience, you think it's underrated? Like just as far as how much publicity it gets here in America?
For sure. I don't know why, but like the Venezuela people coming over that like don't even have bass and then like finishing third. Like, dude, that was such a big deal to them. And it's like, it is kind of weird how it's pretty much nothing to us. I don't get it.
It's hard to, I mean, I try to cover it on BTO and follow it, but it'd be nice to get, everyone behind it. Right. How'd you end up on that team?
Scott.
Okay.
Yeah. Scott was like, hey, because Hillary started going to the University of Alabama.
Yeah.
I'm from Tuscaloosa, worked at the university before I started fishing. So they wanted that like whole university tie.
Did you do the Alabama lawn?
Yeah.
Like the University of Alabama, like you worked on the grounds.
Yeah. That's what I did for like 6 years before.
Did you sign more autographs as the groundskeeper in Alabama or as an Elite Series pro now? Because I know how they treat that. I know how they treat that hollowed ground over there.
All they would do is just like walk by and throw a beer can at me. Because like during game days, I was like the guy running around on the golf carts picking up all the trash.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was the man. Yeah, did that. You didn't know my whole story on that?
No.
Oh, dude, we need like another podcast for that. I suffered.
I mean, I knew you did. I know that guys call you Cricket.
Yeah, that was just Daryl.
That's your nickname.
He tried to make that my nickname,
because he said
I'm rebelling it.
You're rebelling it. What do you like? The ham bone, ham daddy,
Hamner?
Cricket?
I don't know. Everybody just calls me Hamner.
Hamner.
Yeah.
Okay.
A quick question: should I do like? Is it cheesy if I did like Hammer Time as my walkout song? Because like Mercer started doing the whole Hamner Time deal. Need some honest feedback there.
I mean, you room with the guy who comes out to Baby Shark.
That's because he's too lazy to pick his own songs.
I don't know. I think you could do a poll on that to see what the fans think.
Yeah, all 78 of my YouTube subscribers.
Nick's saying do it. Hamner Time. I mean, it would be fitting.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, you could also go into like iTunes or Spotify and like look up songs that have the words like hammer in it.
Yeah.
There could be like another rock song or something. They're saying if you do the Hamner Time, you got to wear parachute pants this year.
See, I already got those.
Do you really?
What? Yeah.
No, you don't.
For the classic.
Yes. Come up wearing the MC Hammer pants out to Hammer
Do you think
Time.
I could pull that off?
Yeah, you could pull that off.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna wrap things up. Cool in studio guest tomorrow. If you guys haven't watched, we're doing 5 days a week. BTL, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tomorrow's Thursday.
Yeah.
So we got Frank tomorrow, but I'm recording with my buddy Big JP, who is a guide up on Thousand Islands and the surrounding lakes in Ontario. He works a little bit with Travis. Incredible personality. He's like 6'8". I don't know. We might have to cut the desk out so he fits. We fit Hallman in here. But he is going to be in studio for Friday's day 5. We'll record it tomorrow. Nice. And then actually we'll have to record it tonight because he's in town to work in Tulsa. So I got to go pick him up. We're going to come back. Then all of us
challenging to an arm wrestling.
Then we're going to go to the Brazilian steakhouse. Get this, Brazilian steakhouse, 5-star, less than 10 miles from the house, less than $50 a plate. All you can eat sushi, oysters, raw oysters on the half shell, seared ahi tuna, the works, like everything you could imagine. And then 12 different cuts of meat served Brazilian steakhouse style. They come by, they shave it off for you, like 3 different fillets.
Yeah.
I'm
ready.
I mean, it's like $48 for the whole thing, including the salad bar.
That's hard to beat.
Yeah. It's like you go to like a Texas Day Brazil, you're like 100-something, man. Easy.
Are they gonna like turn JP down? He
No.
like rolls in there 6. It's like no.
Oysters in Oklahoma seem kind of suspect. They're fresh. I've never had any issue with them. I usually get a couple dozen down.
I'm definitely gonna let
What
you
is
handle
the
them.
oyster rule? What months are you supposed to eat oysters in?
Something with the whole
R. Oysters are safe to eat only in months that contain the letter R in the name.
Yep.
January.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, we're running a train.
Yeah, it's like the whole. Tonight. I think it's like the colder weather doesn't get all the bacteria.
No, they do not give birth certificates for the cow that you're eating. All right, let me fire up some music, dude. I appreciate it coming to the studio. I had a great time.
Anytime.
This was a fun show, man.
This was fun. It was all over the road.
No, that's what the best shows are. Like I said, I did the Juice podcast yesterday. I'm not sure when that'll come out, but those are some guys down in East Texas, and we got off on the rails on that one. And they're like, "Man, this wasn't really what we had in mind, but it was awesome." That's what they said before, and I said, "Man, those are the best shows where you kind of go in and." I mean, I'd written like keywords down.
BaitFuel.
So you want to know? No, these are my notes for today's show. BaitFuel, Classic, sponsors, JERKBAIT, American Bait Works, Clint Davis.
The Clint Davis one is my favorite.
I'm going to have to get him on the show.
You got to talk to him.
I will.
I love
Can you put in a good word?
Yeah, for sure.
He doesn't strike me as a
call him, like,
podcast
right now.
listener.
Yeah, dude, he's got layers. I'll leave the rest for him, but he's got layers.
All right.
Yeah, ask him about like he's big in the stock market.
Is he really?
Yeah. Dude's an onion.
Did you see where he's running the E-Trade boat? Kyle Patrick.
Yeah.
Running an E-Trade wrap.
That's legit.
Yeah. Like the E-Trade.
Yeah. I've been trying to get Milo's, like the
sweet tea.
Yeah.
So I put a hard full court press on Buc-ee's, which I feel like too many guys have gone after Buc-ee's already. If it was going to happen, it would have happened.
Yeah.
And so I'm still a big proponent of Buc-ee's, but then I found Wally's, which is like Buc-ee's, but has more of a family vacation theme style to them. And instead of specializing in brisket, they specialize in fresh popcorn. Same deal though, like 1,000 gas station pumps, giant Wally's. You walk in, it's like Holiday Road.
Is it a walrus?
I mean, it's just like all neon signs. They've got their own beef jerky, the whole 9 yards.
Is it a walrus?
No.
Oh.
I don't know what their mascot is.
Wally.
Yeah. Wally. W-A.
Missed an opportunity.
L-L-Y. So then I tried to get on the Wally's bandwagon. That hasn't gone very well either. No. But there's only like 3 of those locations. So, all right. This has been another edition of BTL Bass Talk Live. Same place, same time, tomorrow. Justin Hamner, thanks for jumping in studio.
Thanks.
Greatly appreciated. We'll talk to everyone tomorrow. Later.